Hi, this is Tracy with C-Town Therapy. This video is for post-op spinal fusion with a future hip replacement on deck. So all of these exercises are really going to be nice and safe for the body. Spine is going to be extremely neutral throughout, mindset on control, stability, and gradual force loads, creating a baseline that you can build from. No pain, no strain, no vulnerability. Each movement should feel very confident and green light for your body. What I have here today is a nice long band. I have a ball for the inner thighs. You can use a pillow. I have some light weights and a block for step ups. You can also use the bottom step in any step in your home. We're going to start today with the lat pulse. So goal today is really to connect the mind with the body so we can really start to incorporate safe movement patterns and really learn how to stabilize and initiate from the right place in your body. Going to take your band. You can tie a little knot, place it in your door. You can wrap it around a door handle or around a pillar like I'm going to do here. Pay attention to how high I have it. There is no need for us to anchor the band high at this. For some reason, the volume got cut out, but I'm just talking about alignment and how important it is to have your feet directly under your hips, hip distance, nice tall posture. You want to feel like your shoulder blades are gently gliding down your back and you have an energetic lift up the front body. This is going to help you stay nice and stabilized so that you can really pull from the right area of your back. You want to think about using the shoulder blades and the backs of the arms. The wrists are going to stay nice and straight. Grow a little bit taller to prepare and slowly pull those arms back. You're reaching your arms down to the ground as you're growing taller through the crown of the head. Slowly return the arms back to where you came from. You're loading a little force into the spine as you pull back, so oppose that by gently lifting up a little taller. Forward. Slow return back. Pull growing taller as you pull, connecting into the back body. Glide down, and the front. And let's hope the volume comes back. This is 4. Add a little exhale as you pull. Think about your exhale with exertion. 5. If you're just starting, you might want to start with 5 reps. For the sake of the video, I'll do 10 reps today. We have 5. Slow control, inhale. 4. My wrists are neutral, all the way back. 3. 2, make sure your knees are soft. And last one. Good, adding on for the rows. You could bring this up a little bit higher, just a little bit. And again, the arms are starting out nice and straight. For the rows, we're thinking more about the shoulder blades coming together to initiate your pull. Again, the abdominals are gently pulled in, just a small little hug around the spine. Pull your shoulder blades together and just let the elbows follow. There's no need to pull past midline. You will come out of that nice stable place. Slowly feel the shoulder blades separate as you return home. Shoulder blades together. We have to pull out and around so that we can really articulate the shoulder blades around the rib cage versus pulling those elbows straight back. Think about a barrel that you're rotating those shoulder blades around. Exhale as you pull. Inhale to release. Halfway, you could stop there at 5, or you could add on 5 more. Feel where your weight wants to go. The band will make you shift your weight forward. Use your abdominals and your glutes to stabilize you. You're going always slow with control. 3. 2. And last one. So with those two exercises, you work some very important muscles. We've worked those stabilizers that bring the shoulder blades down, and we work the shoulder blades that bring the shoulder blades together to help hold us up. You need that connection into your back body to stay upright. Moving on, we'll grab our light weights. You're going to be very careful. Hopefully your weights are on a counter so you do not have to bend over to get them. If they are on the floor, you are going to use your knees with a straight back, bending down to grab your weights and standing up with control. So from here, find that hip distance. Your awareness of where you are in space is very important. So here are your hip bones here. Make sure your feet are in alignment with your hip bones. We have that gentle connection down our back body with a subtle lift in the front body. Just doing some bicep curls here. You can always start one at a time, working on that opposing side for stability, or both arms at the same time. If you feel that these are pretty easy for you, you can always bring your arms forward slightly and do your bicep curls in front of your body. This will increase force into your spine. So make sure you're working at your level where you feel really confident. When you have weights, it is going to increase force and compression into your spine. So remember to oppose that. It's very important that you think about opposition. I'm going to lift the front of my body as these weights oppose me down to the ground. Okay? So maybe you're doing 10 of these biceps curls. This is a little bit easier for you to do. Maybe you want to do more repetitions of your bicep curls. We have 3, 2, and 1. There's your bicep curls. So for now, try to put your weights on a counter or a chair so you're not having to bend down. And then we are going to move on to our multifidi step outs. Multifidi step outs. Multifidi are the muscles that run directly down your spine. They're directly connected to your spine. This muscle is recruited naturally when you walk, so this is just more of an isolated way to strengthen those muscles down the spine. You do not have to take big steps to make this work. If you have the flexibility to bring your arms behind you, place your fingertips on the sides of your spine and find those muscles. When you take a step forward, you should feel those muscles pop into your fingertips. If you don't feel those, it's probably because you're letting your hips sink forward. The idea here is we're staying very tall and connected, but gentle force load into the spine. You can also put your hands on your hips. You're taking a tiny step forward. When I step forward with that front foot, I'm gently connecting the front of my abdominals. With the spinal fusion, we're not pulling our abdominals in as deep as we would layer without this surgery. So it's a very gentle force and like a gentle hug around your spine. You're the only one that's going to know how deeply you can connect. So keep it soft. You step and come back. Notice I'm not moving my hips forward and I'm not bending my spine. I'm staying very tall. I'm stepping and coming back. I'm never losing that connection of my back body, and I'm keeping my abdominals gently hugged in around my spine. It's a very small step. That back leg stays straight and the front knee will bend. Just a small little bend. It's very subtle. This will fatigue the spine. Out of any of the exercises, you might feel this in your spine more than anything else, but know that if you're doing it right and you're not overdoing, this is because those muscles are directly connected to your spinal segments. We'll do 3 more on each side. It's very small. You don't want to take a big step. As we progress, we can start to progress this exercise. But for right now, we are just getting started. Last one. Good. Feel free to pause the video at any time. If you need a break in between, make sure you drink lots of water. What's next on my list? Heel to toe rock. So this is for gait breakdown. The heel to toe rock is very similar to the multifidi, although this is more for gait. So you're going to take your step forward. That back heel will lift up, and you notice how that shifts my weight forward into my left foot. I lower my heel and I step back. I am not losing connection around my spine. I'm stepping, lifting that back heel up. My weight will shift into that right leg. My left heel lowers and I step back. It's detailed for a reason. You need to use your mind to connect to your body. So think about this. Connect. You're going to step, lift the back heel. Feel how that shifts your weight forward. We lower that heel back down and step with control. Step right, lift that back heel. That's what shifts your weight forward. Control the heel back down and we step back. I could easily just step forward, but I've lost my connection and my control. When you've had spinal fusion, you need to be very controlled and stabilized with your movement, especially in the beginning months of recovery. Doing just a few more here. Notice my back is staying very neutral throughout this whole exercise. This also helps you get those calf muscles to start working again for you. Most likely your gait has suffered a little bit moving into this surgery and coming out of this surgery. So let's get those calf muscles working so you have a little bit more support. Last one. And then we're just going to move on from there. So the next exercise is a balance exercise. I'm on a mat, which is going to make it a little bit more non-compliant. If you're on a carpet, that also makes it a little bit more difficult. If you're having a challenge with your balance, make sure you go onto a firm floor. Staggered step balance. I'll show you facing the camera for your alignment. Again, your bony landmarks are very important. Staggered stance balance. That's all you're going to do here. Hip distance apart, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. You're connecting your inner thighs gently, like a little scissor. They're gently hugging towards each other. So my left leg is reaching forward, my right leg is gently connecting back, and I'm just standing here. You could set your clock for 30 seconds and repeat this twice on each side. See how you feel. If you have some perturbation in the ankles, that's normal. Getting those intrinsic muscles to start to stabilize you again. But again, here we are. We have that nice gentle hug. We have our shoulder blades down our spine. Nothing is forced. It's gentle connection, slowly starting to reconnect with your body. Switch legs. Again, look at your alignment, hip distance. And we have those inner thighs pulling in towards each other. More of your weight is going to be on that back foot. I would say like 70% of your weight is on that back foot. You can shift a little bit further forward, but really the exercise is more for the back leg on your staggered stance. Staying up nice and tall. If you find that this is easy for you, then on the next, when we switch legs, you can make it a little bit more tandem, and I'll show you that. For the purpose of this video, I know that we have a hip replacement on deck, so coming into a tandem stance is not going to be ideal, and also for the complicated and kind of complex recovery for this fusion, we want to make sure that we are in more of a neutral alignment. You can see when I bring one foot in front of the other, it's going to make me feel a lot more wobbly, less stable, and I am having to cross in towards midline. That hip is not going to like that, But if that's not for you, then you can always go ahead and come into that tandem stance and work a little bit closer to midline. So like I said, for the sake of this video, this is what's going to be more appropriate. And you can switch sides, and then you'll hold here for about 30 seconds. This is your chance to just really go through your checklist, see how you feel. You want to find a calm stillness, but also some gentle effort with this balance. Just holding here for a couple more seconds. And I'm going to check my list of what we're doing next. So next up on deck are step taps. So I'm going to use my really nice Body Mechanics with a straight back to reach down and grab my block. This is just what I have, so I'm going to use that today. A more ideal place to do this is at the bottom step. Maybe you even have a handrail so you can hold on to this. So here is my mock step. You can do 10 on each side. We're trying to keep the reps really low and light, so this is a very successful routine that you can do every day. This is going to now really challenge your balance. I don't have anything to hold on to. Maybe I would have a little counter, and I'm going to tap. Notice when I tap my foot, I am not bending forward to tap. I am staying lifted. You have these muscles here, the psoas and the hip flexor and the abdominals are really upwardly lifting so that you can control that thigh up and tap on that step. Again, you can exhale with exertion if you need it. You can go a lot slower than I'm going. So we can slow it down for the last 5. I'm going to shift my weight. I'm going to connect and lift as I tap. Connect and lift as I tap. So I'm giving my mind and body some time to process what I want it to do for me. I want to be in control of my body. I'm not going to just let my body do whatever it wants to do. I'm going to really demand that I have this stability, this control, and I'm going to be really successful with this movement. Last one. And there are your step taps. So at any time, if you feel stress, strain, or you need a break, you're going to take one. The goal here is to establish a baseline. So maybe for the step taps, you can only do 5. You're going to just do 5 the next time you do this for a little while until you feel really comfortable increasing your reps. Reps are equal to force into your spine. So if you're doing 10 reps, that's more force than 5 reps. So what type of force is your body ready to receive, and how are you going to create that perfect recipe for your body? So moving on, we're going to come to our seated exercises. I'm going to grab my chair. You can have your chair. Put that there. We are going to start with seated glute sets. I have a ball. If you have a ball or a pillow and you want to incorporate your inner thighs, it's not a bad idea. If you feel like that is just too much recruitment, then you're going to leave it out. So all I'm going to do here, I'm not squeezing my ball, I'm just using it to kind of help give me a little connection into midline. All I'm going to do here is gently squeeze my seat, and you might feel that you lift up just a little tiny bit, like you're levitating, and then release. I'm just recruiting my glutes. I'm squeezing my glutes. Notice how that lifts me up, and then I release. I'm not squeezing my ball. I'm not using my abdominals too much, just to hold me up, and I'm recruiting my glutes. Your sit bones are right in the middle of your seat. You're going to visualize those sit bones drawing together as you lift up. This might be one that's a little bit close to that surgical site or that hip that's not feeling good. So you're going to go easy on this. We are not tightening and tensing our entire body. It is slow, it is gentle, it is mindful. Try 3 more. See if I can get my list pulled back up. It's trying to find me. Okay, so here we go. We're moving on. You can keep your pillow or your ball. Now we are going to find that pelvic floor. So ideally you're sitting stacked on your sit bones. So I can put my hands right under my seat and find those sit bones, and that's where you're going to want to be. If I'm rolled back on my tailbone, that's going to affect my spine. The fusion is not going to like that. So I'm going to lift myself back up from the pelvis first and sit stacked with a real soft lift. Maybe I'm going to squeeze that ball 3%, just a tiny little bit. Now, without squeezing my butt, I'm going to gently lift my pelvic floor. How do we do that? We just have to really focus on the pelvic floor connecting in and up. It's like if you were in a really long line in the fair and you had to go to the bathroom, so you had to hold. You're going to visualize that seal and that lift, release. This is going to really get into you deeply, so take your time and really start to pay attention. Are your glutes wanting to take over? Are your abdominals wanting to take over? Or can you get that little soft lift of the pelvic floor from the pubic bone up to the belly button? Think of it like a little elevator lifting up and releasing. I am not compromising my pelvis or my spinal position. I'm just lifting that pelvic floor up and release. Lift and release. So you really should see nothing happening. It's like an invisible exercise. Go, just 3. Release, and 2. Right in between the sit bones and the pubic bone is where you're going to feel most of that energy, and release. Good. So adding on, sit to stand. If you want to keep that ball or pillow in between your legs, you can do so. It's going to help you with alignment. Sit to stand. If you don't have the strength, you're going to put your hands on your chair. You're going to lean forward with control and stand up. Hinge from the hips. Keep the spine stable and reach back for your chair to sit. I have that ball just to stay connected into midline. Okay, what we don't want to do is bend the spine. We want to hinge at the hips and use our legs. Another tip is if you find that your seat is too low and you're straining to get up, then put a stack of towels on your chair so that you're rising from a 21 to 23 inch chair versus a 19 inch chair, which is more standard. The lower chairs in the community can get all the way down to 17 inches. So I'm going to gently connect into center. I'm going to hinge. Maybe I'll just use a little fingertip to see if I can get myself up. And then I'm going to reach back and sit slowly. You might be able to do this faster or more repetitions, but what's going on with the rest of your body? Are your shoulders coming up? That's going to be compensation. Are you collapsing through the spine? That is going to be too much force into the spine, and you're not using the right place in your body. You want to think about your legs and your core. Core is going to gently hug the spine so that you can power through your legs and your glutes. So take your time with this. This protocol is for precision. It's for you to connect back into your body, keep your mind active so your body knows what to do. Nice and slow and controlled. How are you landing in the chair? If you're losing that eccentric power down and you feel like you're collapsing, then you need to lift the surface of your chair. Bring it up to 21, 23 inches. Take another one and sit with control. I'm going to get rid of my ball or my pillow. Again, for the sake of the video, I'm trying to flow through the exercises. We are going to do long arc quad. I'm going to sit all the way back in my chair. You might have a little towel roll behind you to create a little support system. I can show you with my ball. This is a little bit too big, but it just shows how it like supports me up, okay? So you can fill the gap with whatever towel or little roll that you need. And this is your quad muscle, so I'm going to visualize how this muscle is shortening. And when I shorten it and tighten it, my leg will extend. And then we're going to bring it back. Relax the ankle, don't worry about the ankle. What can happen here is if you have some sciatic tension, this might aggravate the back of the leg if you have some sciatic stuff going on. So if that's the case, maybe you're not going to lengthen the leg all the way out. Maybe you're just going to go halfway and floss it back. So there's two things to keep in mind. If you feel too much tightness, sharp, restricted in the back of the leg, it could be that nerve. If you feel like just more tightness, you're probably accessing that quad muscle. So sometimes we have that involvement of the sciatic after surgery. We want to really keep that nice and calm. So again, take these slowly. The goal is that we don't have the tension at the nerve, but we can access the muscle. What's going to happen is when you extend your leg, you're going to want to slouch and sink into your low back. That's why you're going to use whatever you need to do to stay up tall so that you are not slouching into your low back. You do not have to extend that leg all the way. That is not the goal. The goal is to get you moving, to try and get those quads to fire up a little bit. And if this exercise just doesn't feel right, or any of these exercises, you're not going to do it. You're going to just move on. We'll do one more, and then we'll get down onto the mat or bed for clamshells, which is your last exercise of this routine. So, I'm going to move my chair. Again, you have the luxury of pausing the video if you need to go to the bed to do these exercises, which is going to be the most ideal place for you to do this. You're going to lay down onto your side. You're going to have your pillow under your head or your arm, whichever is more comfortable. The hips are stacked. I know I made it look easy just getting on the floor. You're going to take your time. You're going to stay mindful of the position of your spine as you get down onto your side. Once you're here, don't just collapse into the bed. I want you to think about that right rib cage and maybe just connect it to the left very subtly. That left knee is going to come up. Now, if we start to bring that knee up too high, we are going to roll back, or we're going to come up into our back to make that happen. So start really small. Let's work with precision so we can be successful with this, so that in the future we can come higher and get that range of motion. But for now, we want hips stacked. We want a small range of motion so you can get a little bit of that posterior hip muscle. And for that hip that's on deck for replacement, you're going to notice a big difference from side to side. The most important thing is that you're learning where you are on this day. So work into your available level today. You will work into this. It will get better. You have to take it slow. We'll do 5. Again, your clamshells could look like this. 1 or 2 inches up and control. 1 to 2 inches up and control back. 3 more. 3, 2, and 1. Now, when you are switching sides in your bed, ideally, you're going to brace your abdominals the best way you can. You are already on your side, so the legs will drop off the bed. You're going to use your strong arms to push yourself up. Try to keep your spine very still, and we switch to the other side. Take your time. Learn how to log roll in bed so that you are protecting your spine. Coming down onto the left side, you're going to take your time and make sure you're doing it with control. And once you get there onto your left side, your hips are stacked. Where are you in space? What is happening here? We want to keep that left rib lifted up gently here. We will increase abdominal layering, but not yet. Gentle connection here. Hips are stacked. And small range of motion. Right leg comes up and it lowers down. You are recruiting that posterior hip. So find that hip bone, walk your fingertips just behind it. That's where you're focusing. We're not focusing up here on the back. We're focusing just to the back of that hip joint. Very small, very subtle movement. And with progression, you can go higher. But for now, let's see how your body feels with just this gentle movement and recruitment. Maybe you're doing 3, maybe you're doing 5, maybe you're doing 7, maybe you're doing 8, maybe you're doing 10. 4 more, or you're done. You gotta listen to your body. That's part of you learning how to heal, is really tune into your body. Last one. Practice getting up from this side, so you're gonna stay with that nice stability around your spine. You're already on your side. The legs come forward, they drop off the bed as you use your arms to get yourself up. Once you're done, you'll sit off to the edge of your bed, take a minute here, and then stand with control. You won't probably be on the floor. Okay, so that is your beginning, gentle, precise, stable, and controlled, very mindful protocol to help you initiate movement post-op your spinal fusion, hopefully to help you get moving. Start with a little strength building before you really get into your post-op exercise routine. And I hope this was helpful for you. And as always, really listen to your body.